you, you prick.
Get in your cage.
I don't know. Fuck you. I will set that fucking German Shepherd on you.
I'm a bit worried. He might mount me.
He probably will, mate. Yeah, that's what he's good for. Big fucking wimp that is. Honestly, jet black German Shepherd, 40 kilos, comes up to my fucking waist and he just looks at folk like, hi. Fuck is that going to do, you?
Why is Rogue Company?
I told you I was coming up with the wrong details.
Do you want me to change it now? I'm in it.
I am literally just in the bit of doing it.
Okay.
I mean, come on, Ross. It's not like you've been fucking throwing up all day. Get on with it.
Yeah, not at all.
What are you doing?
Woosa.
Ooh, sir.
Also, are you doing the tweet outs and all that shit? Or
I've already done it.
you've done it?
Yeah.
Thing. I realized before I should have discussed it before. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about rather than Halo? Because
Just Halo up.
I think Halo's probably the bit, unless we want to really go down a deep, dark rabbit hole of Activision, Blizzard.
No, it's not.
yeah, no, I was thinking about that. I don't know if we're really four white guys are the best.
Yeah, let's just veer past
go
that.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially losing Ian for it.
That's why he's not here. We didn't want him.
Yeah.
No.
He's out protesting with his...
Yeah.
With the injustice that is going on. Oh, there we are. We're live.
Where is he anyway? Oh, no, he's with his... I think he's playing Gears of War, I think, isn't he? Hi, Ian.
hope
If
so.
you're watching. Some Gears.
You may... Have you finished all the back-end stuff on it?
No, just go.
Okay, well, no, I can just quickly tidy it up now.
Oh, I've already fixed the name and the thing in that. Yeah, I've done that.
Podcast. Yeah, okay. I'll let you off.
Good thing. Okay. Good. So, is there going to be a thing you're playing, or are we just going to get
No, I
into it?
didn't get it finished in time.
That's cool.
I mean, we don't pay him, do we?
I swear to Christ, Daniel.
I don't think anybody gets paid. Even I end up losing out somehow. Right. Okay. Do you want to restart your recording, or you just want to
Not
carry on?
particularly, no.
No,
I'll just edit
okay.
this shit out.
Just
All right.
edit this
Wait,
shit out.
Add it to the blooper reel.
I should keep a bloopers reel, but I
We
keep
should.
deleting the thing.
In fairness, it'd be about 80% just me sitting there squaring it down. But, you
Fuck's
know,
sake, Daniel. Fuck's sake.
All right. We'll get going then, shall we, gentlemen?
sounds like a plan.
Wonderful. Deep breath. Hello, and welcome to this week's Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern episode 40 already.
Yeah.
Already? What the hell happened there? I am Jamie, I suppose, once again, and this week I'm joined by Daniel,
Hello.
Graham,
Hello.
the real MBV, and Gruff.
Hello.
How are we, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
You sound and you look wonderful. As does everybody else.
Thank you.
We here every Sunday night at 8:21 p.m. and we record each Sunday night on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Xbox Tavern Official, where you'll also find Gruff's weekly news videos, Dan's gameplay videos, and occasionally a few other bits and pieces from the team. You can find us on Twitter at Xbox Tavern, which is full of all of our reviews and thoughts and opinions, and lots of Halo clips this week, which we should get into shortly.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. And you can obviously go to xboxtavern.com to find all our written stuff, which is where we write words and you can read them if you so desire. Occasionally, Ian will even write something if you're lucky.
Without being pestered.
He's
It's
not
not
here
push
this
our
week.
luck.
He's away for a couple of weeks, so hi Ian, we love you really. And then we haven't said it for a few weeks, so we'll go back to the insert coin discount still going, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Go to insertcoinclothing.com and use the code XboxTavern20 to get 20% off your order, one-time use, etc., etc. So to rules and regulations on the website. But yeah, great stuff. There's some new stuff coming up. I don't think there's been any Xbox-related stuff, but there's been some Horizon Forbidden West things, and I think a few Persona things have popped up recently. So plenty of decent games on there, or game sort of branding to go and check out. So go and have a look and use Xbox Tavern 20. What was that, Gray? What's it? What's the code?
Xbox 720.
Wait, he's got it. So I felt
For
like I
all
should
your
get you
gaming
involved.
clobber.
Damn straight. Two of the 4 of us represent this week.
Oh, that one up there, if you can see it.
What, the pitch black t-shirt behind you?
Yeah, I've just noticed that you can't see it in the stream either.
It does not shock me with that.
Yeah, I should have
Yeah.
put a white one on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you should.
And yeah, if Xbox Tavern, and I'm sure you'll find wherever we are. Cool. Right. Are we ready to talk about some video games?
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'll tell you, are you ready? Has anybody else played Halo this week?
No.
Yeah, don't rub it in. You're the only one that got the email.
Yes.
Why has Dan died?
I'm
I
here.
don't know, he looks right on my end.
I'm
Although
moving.
the entire stream seems to have shit the bed.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Well, it's just buffering on my one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm still recording.
No,
Oh,
We're
no, it's
going.
back.
We're going.
Just kicked
Kind
back
of.
in. You had a little bit of a pause. Keep rolling.
Keep going, and then we'll just pick up where we left off. So, Halo. I'll try to keep it brief because, as I said, I'm the only one who's played it. But long story short, it's very good. So they dropped what's it called, the technical preview on Thursday night /
Yeah.
Friday morning. Excuse me. And all it includes is 4v4, but it's 4 players versus 4 bots. So you still get a bit of multiplayer action, but they're not pitting players against each other and shit. And there was 3 maps on offer that they slowly rolled out. They started off with just the one, and they've added a few more in. And they've also included, I should increase the difficulty of the bots. They started off pretty easy. I think the first game we won something like 50-3 or something stupid like that, like real easy points. And then now they've updated them to ODST difficulty, which they are like, you know, when you get like the super cheating AI in games that just can hit you from a mile away.
Yeah.
They're almost at that level, but it's not quite as unfair as that sounds.
I thought you were the one that was able to decrease and increase the difficulty level. So they're doing it at their end as opposed to you going into the match, starting off and saying, I want to play against this type.
I think possibly, well, it ends later tonight, tomorrow morning. But so far, when you go into, I'm just looking at it now, there's literally only ever been the one option, and the first one was just Bot Slayer, and now it's just ODST Bot Slayer. So they might change it so you can pick difficulty, but at the moment, yeah, it's just against the really hard ones. And there's 3 maps: there's Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire. I'm terrible with map names. I've been playing it all weekend, and I couldn't tell you which one is which. But they're all pretty good though. There's, I think Live Fire is the one you've probably seen in previews, where it's got that sort of central, sort of circular pillar, and then there's bridges and stuff coming off of it. I think that's one of the first images they showed. Bazaar is sort of more of an open, almost like Middle Eastern market. It's got a few high sort of building vantage points and a little sort of town square where you can battle it out with everyone. And then Recharge, I've only played once or twice. It's more of a ship type thing. And I think I've got them 2 mixed up. Anyway, regardless, I'm terrible. Honestly, the amount of times I've played Halo and somebody could name me a map. Blood Gulch?
I was going to say Blood Gulch is probably about as far as I could get.
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar, yep. And then Rat Race, and that's about it. I could point out a map to you easy, but tell you the names of them, I haven't got the clue. But the important thing is they're all fun to play. The Live Fire one, which again now I'm thinking about a mistake, and that's like one with like target dummies and stuff dotted around. It's a bit more of an open map, but that's quite good, really small, so it suits 4v4 well. But whereas the Bazaar is a little bit bigger, so I think that would be better suited to maybe 6v6 or 8v8. But so far, a lot of fun. It looks good. I've been playing mostly on the Series S when I was away last week, and it looked really good. It loads really fast. It actually loads probably the fastest game I've played so far.
Oh,
So
really?
you press A on on the dashboard, and you're at the title screen in about 2 seconds flat.
Wow.
And then you can just get going. Matchmaking's been a bit hit and miss because obviously it's a preview. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Sometimes I load into a game and it'll just crash. But
That's to be
on
expected, isn't it?
yeah, on the most part, it's been pretty well. Been pretty good. The only not major issue I've found so far, but the only thing that I couldn't not get to work was mouse and keyboard support. It supports it. I can get the keyboard to work, but the mouse I just can't get it to function. And I tried restarting the game, restarting the console, going into the settings, and I can run around with a keyboard, but I can't I can't look, so I'm just running in a straight line all the time, which probably not really less than my skill level anyway. But
You got the controller preset to Dan.
No,
Yeah,
so the
yeah,
Minecraft
I was
control
gonna say-
setup.
it was facing forwards and going inverted. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, drove me mad.
Yeah, no, so far really good. They've got some more of the classic weapons back. So they got the Needler, which is the best weapon in any game ever made, except for the Lancer, perhaps bit
I love the needle.
bit
Are we not
close between them.
we're talking about Halo that has the energy sword in it, yeah?
Oh, I don't like the energy sword.
What?
I never ever could get on with the energy sword.
What about the
Pretty
hammer?
fun.
Gravity hammer.
It's got the gravity hammer, yeah, but it's really weak in this version. I assume they obviously again they're using it to see what works and what doesn't. But you remember before in like Halo 3 where you only have to be sort of like in spitting distance of someone, you bash that hammer down, they go flying.
Yeet them.
Unless you literally hit them dead on, it barely touches them this time around.
Okay, so no area of damage effect or whatever.
Yeah,
It is.
there is, but it's really, really weak. And even I hit a bot, I literally missed him, fractions, and his shield crackled, and then he just pummeled me to death because it took ages to bring the hammer back up and go for another shot. And they got the sniper rifle and the rocket launcher and stuff, which there's like a training mode, so you can do like a live fire training session with all the weapons. There's 3 different settings. One with just static targets, and then the end one is there's targets that sort of running around, ducking and weaving, so you've got to try and keep up with them. Yeah, that's really good. Very good. Very enjoyable. Very classic Halo. It's more like sort of Halo 2 and 3 than it is 4 and 5, at least in the way it feels. So it's not as fast paced, and there's a sprint. Everyone gets sprint now, so it's not an ability anymore, but it's not very, I'm not saying not very useful. It is useful, but it's not so powered that you just leg it like in Call of Duty. When you start sprinting, you go, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think I saw a video online where it only increases your movement speed by something like 0.07% or something.
I hope that's
So-
limited to just the multiplayer though, because that would cause you don't really want that in like the campaign.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it probably could do with going it just a little bit faster, just
Yeah.
to make it have a little bit more of a difference. But yeah, there's not very much. There's not much in it at all. But it is nice to have because it's that muscle memory where again playing Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, you always leg it to the fight and then slow down, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas in Halo, it's always traditionally been sort of just at one pace. And they've got a few new weapons. Again, I'm terrible with the names. I can't remember for the life of me. I wonder if I can find it quickly. Actually, while I'm on here.
Do you want me to find it while you keep talking?
That's what I've got here. So we got
The
the club. Yep, that wonderful. No, we got where's it gone?
The sock?
The skewer. I don't remember seeing a skewer before in Halo games. It's basically it's kind of like the one at Dead Space where you pick up a spear, basically just fire a spear through them. Single shot kill, but it's really hard to aim. Even the static targets I was missing half the time. So let alone trying to hit anyone moving. But yeah, again, it's really powerful, and the way they use the power weapons like that, and like the sniper rifle and stuff, they have them dotted around the arena, but they only spawn in every so often. So unlike previous Halos, excuse me, where they're on the map and just sort of a race to get to them first. Now it's a case of you see it's coming in 30 seconds, so everybody sort of congregates around that area waiting for it to spawn, battling until it does spawn in, you grab it quickly. Same with armor ability, so you got active camo, overshield. I think that's all there is so far. They spawn in every 30 seconds or so, depending on the map you're on. And then there's the things like the Needler and the plasma pistols and carbines and stuff like that. They're in the map all the time. They are dotted around in specific places, so it is a race to get to them first. But once one's been picked up, a new one won't spawn until the current one's empty. So if I pick up the Needler and then get killed, and it just lays on the floor, it will stay there until someone picks it up and empties the clips, and then a new one later on.
You can't reload. Obviously, there's not enough clips to.
I think with the Needler you get enough for 3 clips.
Okay.
But again, if I don't use it all up and die, and then someone else doesn't use it for a while, it will just sit on the map, so there won't be another one to spawn.
Yeah, and it won't redo its own ammo, so you can't.
Yeah.
That next person, if you've used a clip and a half, they've got a clip and a half to use in their next
basically
battle as such.
But it's a lot more powerful, I think, than previous ones. It only takes about half a clip to kill someone if you get them all, more or less dead on.
Yeah.
And And then like I said, there's grenades and there's armor abilities. Say armor abilities, not really on, but there's a drop shield and a grapple hook that I've seen so far. And
I've seen the grapple hook.
Grapple hook is good fun.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was in the alpha or the preview thing. So I picked up. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I grabbed it, shot towards the guy. I was like, "Oh!" Punched him, and then he killed me because he wasn't nearly dead enough. But it was good fun while it lasted. Actually, there's one other one. It's a sensor, so you can fire it out, and it will like ping the local area, and it will show you if there are any enemies and stuff like in that zone.
So that sounds like all the abilities from Halo 5. Am I right in saying? Where you could
hologram and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, the hologram was one of them, but the drop shield, I'm sure, was one.
There was like a bubble shield. I think there was a drop shield in 5, but it's sort of similar to the bubble shield in 3, except it only does the front. It doesn't do all around you.
Okay.
And they can destroy it as well if they attack the front. I think it's made of about 9 panels, and each one will break down the more it gets hit. And it doesn't last very long, but it's enough to sort of protect you for a couple of seconds while you can shoot through it the other way without damaging it. Whereas
so it gives you a kind of a head start on the enemy.
Basically, it gives you a shield for a matter of seconds just to get the heads up. But yeah, combat's very classic Halo. So grenades, melee, and obviously the gunplay. So you charge in, get a few shots in, give them a melee, maybe lob a grenade or two, and hope for the best. And it's, like I said, it's not as hectic as I found Halo 5 to be. I did really enjoy Halo 5's multiplayer, but it's definitely more classic Halo than that was, which is good. And it starts off with the classic theme when you get to the title screen.
Oh, nice.
Immediately was like the chills. I was like, yeah, here we go.
Have some of that.
There we go, yes. Yeah, does anybody have any questions about it? Or there's anybody looking to try and get into the next technical preview, whenever that may be?
It's not really up to us, is it?
I don't know. Do you need to reapply? Because I feel like I've done all the effort I can put in just now.
I think if you've already applied, you'll be eligible for the next one, whenever it may be.
I need to. I didn't do my console sign up, so you had to sign up to Halo Waypoint, didn't you? And then you had to make sure your console was on the inside. Yeah, and that was the bit I missed out because I was looking. I had 5 minutes spare, and I was like, "Oh, quick! How do I get into the Insider program? I can't remember." And then just went off. Bollocks, can't be asked.
Yeah, so there's an app on your Xbox you can download, the Insider Hub.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. I've been in it for fucking donkey's years, so I've always been in it. But I think you only need to have it downloaded and just sign into it, basically. I think, and then you effectively are in the right position.
Yeah, because you get to pick which ring you want to go in as well. So I know the higher up the ring you are, the newer you get the features, but also how much buggier your console can be. So even if you want to just go into the entry ring, you'll get the things at the very end just before they go live to everybody, but it means your console's less chance of getting the shit that comes with the higher ups.
Yeah, I've been in I think it's called the Alpha Skip Ahead one, which is, as you say, like the highest ring one. And I haven't had too many problems, but I did when I come back from holiday yesterday, as I say, the console was stuck in an update loop. I don't know how long it'd be going, probably a week for as far as I know. But it's like 70% to 90-something%, and then it just crashed. So I turn it back on, do exactly the same over and over again. Luckily, I managed to get it sorted. And it seems the right sense, but yeah.
But you want to go further up the ring. You don't want to be just in the entry point of the ring, Dan.
No, the further in the ring, the better. Especially if you've got some batteries to hand. Some.
The less said about that conversation pre-show, the best, I think.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to know about Halo, or should we move on to something else?
I'll take it there's no D-cell batteries in Halo.
I was going to say.
I was just looking at them. There's probably a few batteries in their armor somewhere they could use for some.
Cool.
For something. Plenty of lights. I was plenty of customization as well. Actually, you can do to your Spartan. Even in this early demo or preview, you can change the color and the armor pieces and the visor and stuff like that.
How monetizery? I'm trying to think of the word that I can't think.
How are they trying to get the money out of you? Because this is going to be free to play, basically.
This is free to play. So
where do you
think all the microtransactions are? Obviously, you've nailed the
it's
customizable.
So if I go press Y, it brings up the battle pass. So there's daily challenges as to be expected and weekly challenges. If you get the battle pass, you get an extra weekly challenge. Which but and you also get there's a battle pass. So let me just scroll back here. So the first reward is some extra XP, I think, and then some bits and pieces of armor and color and stuff like that. There's nothing major, but the battle pass itself, obviously, this is only oh, excuse me, again the preview, but I did buy it because it was
And
I
a
somehow
preview battle pass.
yeah
No
it's
way.
it's called a season 0 battle pass, and I had 3,000 credits, whatever they're calling them here, and it was only 250 credits. I've no idea how I got 3,000 credits, so I thought, why not?
Oh, so
It's
you
not
don't
costing me.
technically
yeah.
buy it then.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't pay any actual money for it. But looking at the shop here now, there's the battle pass, there's weapon skins, and armor skins and stuff, and they're ranging from about 300 credits to about 900. And then there's XP stuff, and you can also buy levels like in Fortnite and stuff, so you can use these credits to buy that.
Yeah.
And then there's a button to buy credits. Let's have a look at that. Not a
How much
option
are your
I would.
credits?
Oh, maybe it's not working yet.
It's going to be
because
like
it's still the preview,
79 pence, 149, 399.
Well, it'll be so 2,100 should be around 50. Is it 15 quid or something?
Yeah, it'll
daft?
be in that ballpark. It'll follow
Yeah.
a very similar sort of layout to the FIFA type.
Yeah,
well,
so-
FIFA,
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah, I imagine
Road
it's going to,
Company.
yeah. If you play a sort of a free-to-play or a live service game before, you're probably going to be aware of the
Familiar with
ballpark
these.
you're aiming for. Yeah, I mean, there's not an option to actually buy them here. The button's there, but when you press it, excuse me, nothing comes up.
Just not implemented the full.
Yeah, but yeah, this season 0 one, it goes up to level, quite a way, level 20, and I'm on level 8, 7, 6, 4. There we go. That's how much I've played it. And yeah, it's all just like armor skins and XP boosts and stuff like that. And there's also things like from Halo 5. Remember the cards? I can't remember what they're
Yeah.
called. But there's stuff like that as well, so you can, before a match, set up a card to boost your XP or boost your whatever, increase your credits gain and stuff like that. And then as I said, there's challenges and stuff to complete each day. But in this battle part, in this challenge, there's like flag captures and stuff like that, and complete a strongholds match, which aren't in this preview. So I'm assuming this season 0 battle pass is going to go right the way to launch, until when the game comes out. That'll be season 1. Over the several previews that I imagine they're going to have. So if you get into it, it's probably worth spending the 250 credits on. Just to get some nifty pre-game stuff. And yeah, very good to play. Just very enjoyable. Combat's nice and responsive and meaty. There's been a few. I don't know if you guys look at the Twitter and stuff, but there was some people on there, and what were they saying? They were playing on PC because you can play it on Steam as well, and they were moaning that on like a 2080 extreme like visual settings, it wasn't doing more than 30 frames per second.
Yeah, I'd noticed.
Oh,
that.
this isn't outrage. Why can't this next gen game? Fuck off! It's a preview, you fucking
Yeah.
nerds.
It's not
Chill
been
out.
optimized in the slightest yet.
Yeah. It's like, what do you expect? It's literally just to test the servers and to see if it's any good, which it is. But,
But we need to be outraged and moan at something.
Yeah.
literally immediately, yeah. But yeah, again, the whole technical preview, that's what it's there for, to find issues and bugs.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there won't be too long before they bring out an actual PvP version. With more players would be nice, because I always prefer the big team battles over the 4v4 or all v all type game types. So yeah, Halo Infinite, our first taste at last. It's very good. It's very good. Did I forget Ross? Gray, did you try and sign up, or are you going?
Oh yeah, I'm fully signed up.
Yeah, I'm fully
I just didn't
waiting
get
for an
shit.
invite. I'm just not. Besides Scots, we just get shot on.
Just looking forward to changing his skins.
Exactly. I wanted to kill.
Oh God, could you imagine? As Master Chief lifts it up as a part of an emote.
I was just thinking so that it was like the kilted teabag just right at Dan's corpse.
Oh. I was wondering what see you were going with there. I think we should move on from.
Yes. Anyway, let us know in the in the comments below, like and subscribe and all that.
Yeah. Ian's just joined us in chat, and he says.
Oh, he comes into this bloody show. I swear to Christ.
Oh no, he's not popping it. He's just come in and
Don't
said
give him
hello.
hints, you Ted. He'll do it just to spite you.
The show will just end. It's just gone. Just
End stream.
done. Dusted.
Yeah, Halo, very good. Looking forward to playing with you lot at some point in the near future when you get invites.
Can't wait. Is there any
and then-
inkling of when it's dropping? I bet there was nothing.
No, there was. They've accidentally included story files in in the date of this drop, which apparently has already been data mined and leaked. But I don't believe, obviously, that includes a release date of any sort. But if you are wary of Halo spoilers, then yeah, just watch
Stay
what
away
you're
from the
clicking
internet.
on over the next couple of months, because I haven't seen them, but I don't know how in depth the spoilers go. But it sounds like it's at least covering, some big points. So
Yeah, that was Sunday, wasn't it? That guy tweeted out. Was it Saturday evening, Sunday morning?
yeah, Saturday evening, Sunday, yeah. Which I
Um,
suppose kind of brings more attention to it, because they're like, by the way, the spoilers, don't look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've kind of just told everyone, but
Well, he was also quite good in saying if you did find any, please don't leak out to people. Whether he's doing his PR spiel, but yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, he's not going to say tell the world, but
Build the story. Something bad happens and Master Chief saves the day. Oh no, spoilers.
Oh, who would have known?
yeah. I mean, I've always enjoyed the Halo story, but I'm not sure that if I saw the spoilers, I'd be overly bothered, because it's all about the gameplay in it. And
Yeah.
I'm one of the guys who reads the books and all that, but I'm not really sure I'll be bothered about whether Chief survives or whether bloody Cortana comes back, or spoilers, or whatever else goes on. Cool, Halo.
Cool.
At last, we're getting there in the end. Yeah. Next game, please. Next news story, please.
Next news story.
Yeah.
Well,
What's on the list?
we'll do a very quick one then. So the Coalition did their I forget what showcase was it,
Unreal. Oh no, can't remember what the showcase was.
but yeah, they showed off one of their in-game in-engine Unreal 5 character models they'd made as part of whatever, I forget the talk it was. It wasn't GDC, was it? Something like that. Did anybody watch it? I know Dan did. Did anybody, the other two, check it out?
I didn't watch it, but I've seen the clips in regards to the character models.
Yes. So it was obviously incredibly highly detailed. It was just a character model. There was no background, no scenery, no nothing.
Looks very suspiciously like a Gears character.
That's where I was going to go. It certainly did. It wasn't.
Nah, I would say it ain't beefy enough for a Gears one.
I was going to say it wasn't beefy enough, and the armor was definitely a lot smaller, but it had hints of Gears-esque.
Yeah.
Sort of attributes to it. So sort of the shoulder pads and the chest plates and stuff like that. Which it almost looked to me when I first saw it. It kind of made me think of when we were talking about the other week, like that, sort of taking the Gears and taking it back a step to like a survival horror type thing. So you're like a weaker soldier or a weaker member of the COG army.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the lower down armor you get. But as to be expected, it looked very good. It looked very realistic.
Yeah, the one thing that you're going to get the same fanboys on Xbox you do with PlayStation. Do you remember when PlayStation released that Unreal Engine demo? And everybody was like, this is going to be the best thing that's ever created. And now the Coalition's done, and you're going to get Xbox fanboys saying the exact same. It's a tech demo. It's like when you go into like Curry's or somewhere and you see an OLED TV and you're like, that's the most amazing picture I've ever seen. Yeah, because it's fucking made to look that good for a demo. Put it onto your TV and put Sky Sports on it. It's going to be like, oh yeah, it's nicer, but it's not.
Yeah, where's the colours popping?
Yeah,
and
it's
where's
not 10,000 times different to what I've got previously. Fucking bit of common sense, people. But yes, it did look very nice, and if it can translate to the real world, then fantastic. But demos are exactly just for that purpose.
Yeah. And what was the headline that come out of it? I think it was one of the eyelashes of the guy had the same amount of polygons as a character on the 360.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard
That's
that.
how sort of in depth and in detail it was. Again, that's the idea of these tech demos, to do them sort of ultra high fidelity. And then when you get the real game, if you end up in a real game, you look nothing like it, because you can't possibly have that and all of the rest of the characters in the world and the lighting and everything going on. But it did look very good. And as I said, the main thing I wanted to see if anyone else sort of picked up on the Gears vibes.
I did. Like I said, it felt so Gears-esque. But they turned around and said it wasn't Gears either, didn't they? They said it was just
a tech demo. There was no
generic dude.
I think they called it, what was it, Alpha Point or something it was called.
Yeah, Alpha Point demo. Yeah. Because there was another one as well, wasn't there, that had more of an environment sort of showcase. So they were showing off like rocks and trees and stuff, and then there was like a spinning, glowing, like a prism type shape that was opening and closing, light coming out of it and stuff. Not very Gears there, but again, that was not representative of a game. But it did look very good. That's to be expected. So tech demos, always looking very good. We'll see if they can actually do it. I mean, Unreal 5 looks pretty interesting, but the whole sort of tech specs way above my fucking pay grade.
But if any game can get close to that graphical wise, then yeah, obviously you'll just look super impressive.
I think
graphics don't mean anything, everything even.
No,
this is true.
I think one of the things I had seen about it was I can't remember the name that was used for the Unreal side of it, but there's basically software in it that's very much like what NVIDIA use in their PC graphics cards, DLSS. So it's super sampling. So it's basically trying to get it looking, even if it's not a 4K feed, to make it look like 4K or a slightly lower one up to 8K and things like that. So I know they've got some sort of AI subsampling to try and make it look higher resolution quality, even if it's not natively hitting that.
I think a lot of them are going for that now.
So that'll be interesting to see how that translates to console gaming, because obviously graphics usually tends to be a wee bit weaker than on the PC side of it. So how they'll implement that in the form factor what they've already got.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, and hopefully we'll get more information soon on some sort of game, not just the guy standing there going like that.
T-pose.
You look just like him.
Well, I mean, I don't want to brag, but they got to get the model from somewhere, haven't they?
Exactly. That's why Jay's been busy all this week.
I could definitely grow a beard like that as well.
Oh, I don't know.
It wouldn't take me about 8 years to get anywhere close. All right, next news story, please. Microsoft says, when the page loads, the Xbox Series X and S are its fastest selling consoles ever. Which, wonderful. Lovely, as they should be.
I was going to say, that's a no-brainer, surely, that that's going to be the case. I mean, as fantastic as the 360 was, the way that they've packaged this gen's consoles, whether it's all access or how affordable it is to get started with building Game Pass, like a year's worth of Game Pass when you pick up your Series S, for example, and you've got 200 games for less than £350.
They've spot on with the marketing.
Yeah, they've done it really well.
But with this story, what I didn't include, and I think it was last week it was mentioned, was it June? I think June was, or it might have been May. For the first time in however long, Xbox outsold
PS5
PlayStation.
in America.
Yeah. Whether that was due to obviously having two consoles, because they were selling more, obviously, and PlayStation was only selling one, or it was the fact that they bulked it all in one thing. So it was essentially really how well Microsoft are now, they're hitting the ground running big time now. And I think you can start seeing them, not pull away is the wrong word, and I don't mean like any fanboyism. They're just, you can see all the fruits of their labours finally starting to
the difference
flourish.
It's maybe they're not pulling away in regards to monetary sales value and units sold, as in completely pull away. I think what they're starting to show is they're pulling away in regards to their roadmap and their sort of infrastructure as to what they're trying to implement, between where Game Pass is going, making games crossplay with nearly every developer that has a game that wants to go crossplay. Xbox are like, yep, we'll fix that and get that sorted up for you. Whereas PlayStation are banking on, but we've got God of War and we've got Horizon Zero Dawn and we've got X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
that's great because they are outstandingly great games. But what's the innovation that's coming for PlayStation? You've brought out a great controller, which is, without sounding bad, fantastically, like in every way superior to the Xbox One. But what else have you done?
Yeah, they're kind of, as you say, they're kind of banking on sort of bigger, better, more
exclusives,
badass, aren't they? Rather than innovating in any sort of new way in terms of bringing new games or new experiences or new ways to get the games like Game Pass and stuff.
They've now started to introduce their SSDs, so they're using sort of M.2 drives for PlayStation 5, which again I think is a trick that Xbox might miss if enough developers get on board with making their M.2 drives suitable for the PS5,
Yeah.
But
Have you been keeping up with the information on that? Then?
well, yeah. I've still, like Eoris is one of the folk that have built 90% of my PC. So if Eoris, you listen out, hook me up. I've got like their stuff in my PC, and their stuff's fantastic. And one of their clips is now saying that they're compatible with PS5, so it shows you like their little heatsink and M.2 clipping into the drive that's on the PS5. So if companies like Eoris or Samsung, Seagate, they're all well. I don't know if Seagate will be too keen on jumping in, especially with the exclusivity they've got on the Xbox storage drive. But if all the manufacturers are going to make M.2s that are compatible with PS5, that could come back and bite Microsoft in the arse, only having the one manufacturer that's making the proprietary one.
It could do, but they're also, from what I saw, I think there was a Seagate one, wasn't there? I think, was it? Was
the Firecuda one that could go all the way up to almost $1,000.
Yeah, exceedingly expensive for, I think a terabyte was something like $300 or something, which is already what, $100 more, $150 more than the Xbox one.
But then that said, that's how much the Xbox one was. Was that not how much? $250 it was the Xbox One at launch.
I think so, yeah.
And the prices have only just started to now plummet. So if the ones for the PlayStation are just launching at that, I'd expect them to come down, especially for the fact that there'll be more competition in the market.
Yeah, that is one thing. They as you said, there are going to be more options than just here's a expansion card.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be more later on.
And the fact that the PlayStation one's internal.
Yeah.
So as much as it's easy accessible to get into it, you're not having to take the PlayStation apart. It's still aesthetically a bit nicer than having something shoved in the back of your
Xbox. Then there's also the issue of getting the heat sinks and stuff not coming with it and all that. But that's for another show, isn't it?
We're going too techie here.
PlayStation Tavern, is it? Sorry, hello, welcome to PlayStation Tavern. Your one-stop shop for Last of Us news. What a game Last of Us is.
I forgot.
Amazing.
Who started him off?
Amazing. But yeah, so the SSD is always going to be expensive to add more. But getting back to what we were talking about, what's his name? Daniel Ahmad is like an industry analyst on Twitter. He reckons that by his mathematics, that the Xbox Series X and S have sold approximately 6.5 million by the end of June, which, is about 0.3 of a million more than the Xbox One and about 1.5 million more than the 360 in the same sort of 6-month window, whatever it is. But there was also, again, slightly going back to PlayStation, I think they put theirs out the other day, and they reckon it was 10 million they'd sold by now. So if his numbers are even close to right, they're still trailing him a little bit, but it's not as far as it was last generation.
I think the issue that Microsoft will always face with that is trying to conquer the Asian market.
Yeah,
and that's going to be the kick in the nads to try and overcome. I mean, see if it came back and after 3 years of the consoles coming out, that in Europe and America Xbox was more successful. That's a massive win for Microsoft. As much as they'd want to get the Asian market, it's very unlikely that it'll ever come to Microsoft overtaking PlayStation in like Japan and things like that.
But then this is where I guess Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, having it mobile on other devices.
Exactly, they're not so bothered about selling the console. You
Yeah.
can just play it on your phone.
So I'd be curious to see how many people have Game Pass in comparison.
Well,
The
there was a
console
tweet.
stalled.
There was a tweet out, wasn't it? It was 20. So as Jez Gordon said, it was 23 million, but then got corrected. So it's not 23. It's just under 23 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that,
Not bad.
that'll be where Microsoft will go, yeah, we're maybe not selling the physical consoles, but we've got double the amount of people playing our games.
Yeah.
Or playing the games that Xbox owners can play.
Paying for the game. We don't know if they're playing them, but they're paying,
They're paying
for
for
it.
them, yes, true.
Paying for the subscription to sit there and go, well,
I mean, that's the
might play
thing.
this in
Like,
10 minutes.
if I was a hardcore PC gamer, I would have Steam installed and I'd have the Xbox Game Pass app installed, and you're good to shoot.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, really. Did you see? I'm hesitant to call it a rumor because it was some random guy on Twitter, but it was basically, they've been talking about doing like a streaming box for a long time.
Yep.
there was like product images for it popped up earlier on, which supposedly it's supposed to be out in this year, but it's been delayed to next year now. But basically like a Series Series S, but it's about the size of a pack of playing cards, and it's got HDMI out, Ethernet out, Wi-Fi, stuff like that.
So it'd basically be like a wee Now TV box size thing.
Basically, yeah, like a tiny little box you just plug in, and you can only play cloud streaming Game Pass games on it. So
I'm surprised they would go for that and not go zero cost and just have apps installed on TVs.
I think that's the plan as well, isn't it? But
that would be the best option.
Stadia style.
Yeah, just
most modern TVs you can Bluetooth a controller to them as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think they're quite good standing with Samsung still, aren't they? Where they pair up for a lot of their activities.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting if it ever comes to fruit again. I forget the guy's name, but it was just some guy. So he could very well have made him up in Photoshop himself, but you never know. Watch this space. So Xbox selling well, PlayStation selling well. Everybody's happy. Well, not everybody. Don't read Twitter and everybody's happy.
No.
Miserable fuckers on there. And I think that will probably do it for the news this week, unless anyone else has got anything they'd like to bring up.
No, we'll stay clear of that story.
There's some real shitty things going on. Basically, don't be a cunt.
Yeah,
that's all we got to say.
Don't be those guys.
Don't be a cunt. Just be nice to everybody.
If you are
going to be a cunt, you deserve everything that fucking comes to you.
Yeah, if you have the luxury of working in the games sector and have the ability to improve the lives of X amount of people that are playing your games or interacting with your members of staff, don't fucking fuck them around.
Literally.
Well, exactly. Just, don't be a cunt.
Yeah. a hearty chorus of don't be a cunt.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about like the Tavern and Dan. We're talking about like Blizzard and Activision. Oh, sorry, wrong. My bad.
I mean, we do like to rule with an iron fist, but we won't tell you. No, let's get right. Yeah, but don't be an arsehole. Right. Video games. Let's move on. Gaming 30-day, 30-week challenge. We are on day 22, which is a game sequel which disappointed you. There'll be no prizes for guessing my answer this week, but let's go with Graham first because he's been pretty quiet so far.
Yeah. Well, the sequel that first flew into my head was something I recently talked about, and that was Yakuza 3. It's the real sad baby of the franchise of the games compared to sort of you have the 0, 1 and 2. All three of those were awesome, and then it just jumps to 3. The remastering and the remaking really didn't help that game. That still stuck in time, and it didn't age well.
It's odd that they stopped with 2 and didn't sort of venture to remake 3 and then sort of not worry about 4 because that was more current. It's sort of like, as you say, it's kind of like a big step. You get really decent remakes and then
well, they probably saw the story and was like, it's only half good. Let's not do a full remake. Let's just do a remastering.
Maybe.
And I don't even think like a full tidy up of what they would do would improve that one. It was a shame, which is sad. 4 is much better, but 3 is definitely a sequel that disappointed me after being so excited at ramping it up from 1, 0, and 2, just to like, I'm itching to play the next one. That's it.
So was it just because obviously you played the remasters? Do you reckon if you'd played the originals and gone to 3, would you have enjoyed it more, or was it the story and the gameplay and stuff as well that sort of
it depends how bad the gameplay was on 1 and 2. If 3 was a step up, I'm not even sure I would have got to 3 if that was of a lower standard.
That's why I didn't get very far. I didn't like the gameplay in the first one on the PS2.
But 1, 2, and 0 were great fun and just so wacky. 3 has the wackiness there, but the gameplay just doesn't pair up, and the story isn't as good as those first ones. But that was highly disappointing.
But you're past it now.
I am past that one.
So we can.
4 started well, so it's got it can't get that bad again, surely.
Nice. All right, Daniel.
Yes, hello. I'll just put a poll up on YouTube, so we'll see what people think. I went with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Another strong contender for shitty game.
Yeah, we also had a kind of a discussion about it, whether it's classed as a sequel or is it classed as a extension of a franchise or starting a new franchise. But again, a bit like Graham, when I saw that question, that was one of the first games that jumped out at me, and I thought, yeah, that was a stinker.
You know, my biggest problem with Andromeda is, see if you had changed that to
Just Andromeda and not Mass
yeah.
Effect.
See if you'd have just had it as like Andromeda, and that was the name of the game, and you went out and you played the game as just Andromeda, and obviously the species are the same and shit like that. But side point for that, and you hadn't attached the Mass Effect tag to it. It was a good game.
Yeah,
It was.
I suppose expectations. I don't want to say set. Well, I personally set my own expectation of.
Yeah, I set it off the trilogy.
Yeah, maybe saying Emmy Andromeda, and that may have lowered the expectation potentially.
I mean, there was
I didn't.
couple of funky facial bugs at launch, but see like some of the places you went, like any of the big remnant structures, that looked fantastic. The first planet you go on with the lightning strikes shooting down when you're running through it, amazing. The actual movement and cover system, outstanding. But
Yeah, I found it very boring and samey though, and that could be because for me personally, as I went in there, I was expecting, I guess, a new shepherd or this brilliant thing that I was taking along this journey between 1, 2, and 3.
I mean,
then I literally got a hot pile of crap.
Yeah, I mean, you had a human, and you compare it to Shepherd, shit. You compare it to you have the Asari, and you compare it to your Liara, shit. You have the Turian, compare it to Garrus, shit. Then you have the Krogan, compare it to Rex, shit. And you're like, somebody has to step up and be more impressive than what they were in the first 3, and I'd be happy with it. But there was none of the characters and none of the races that stepped up and was like, boom, here we are.
Was it Jack, the skinhead lady?
Yes.
Mass Effect 3, yeah.
Better than Kaiden? It's the one that stepped up.
Whatever I managed
Human biotic was better than Kaiden.
Whatever I managed to put into the toilet area when I was stuck with my head doing it was better than Kaiden.
Yeah, as you say, Russ, it didn't. Well, I only played a little bit, but it didn't like pop.
Yeah,
like,
that was the issue.
There was no like, oh man, this is awesome. It's just like, well, I suppose it's kind of Mass Effect-ish.
Yeah, they kind of pound shop Mass Effected it.
Yeah.
That is probably the best description ever. A pound shop.
It's like Mass Effect from Wish. Better way to describe it.
Effect Mass Andromeda.
Some
Mass
dodgy
Effect.
adult site. But anyway, Ross, what about your one?
I went for Silent Hill 4.
That is the room, isn't it? Yeah.
Is what it was called. It was, I mean, when you've got the first sort of 3 from the series that were absolutely outstanding, and then 4 was just unbelievably terrible. Just like nothing about it. I don't had any enjoyment playing it.
Sounds very similar to our just Mass Effect conversation.
Yeah, but the thing is, there was no redeeming qualities in Silent Hill 4. At least Mass Effect Andromeda had some things that built on the trilogy and made it a bit better, but this was just, it didn't have any, I didn't feel it didn't have any of the suspense, it didn't have any of the characters, it just failed at everything a Silent Hill game should have been.
This was the one that had, you were in the room in first person, weren't you?
Yeah, you're
and
in
then
the
you had to
apartment
sort of
type
crawl through
idea,
the hole to get out to Silent Hill at various points. I only played, again, much like Andromeda, I only played the first hour or so because
you weren't missing much.
Yeah, I think I got a collection of 2, 3 and that. Even though I already owned 2, I wanted to get the others.
Yeah,
3 was pretty good.
The
what I
HD
played
collection.
Yeah. I know this was on PS2.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a box collection of all 3 of them. I never finished 3, but I did enjoy what I played of it. But yeah, 4, guff.
Yeah, so disappointing, and it's like it was obviously because I think the original Silent Hills were were they PlayStation 1?
PlayStation 1 was the first
Yeah.
one, yeah.
And then you've got that one was like tail end PS2, so you were expecting it to be outstanding, and it was just so disappointing.
Especially after Silent Hill 2 as well.
Exactly. It was just such a letdown, such a waste. Yeah, franchise. And,
And-
by the looks of it, never recovered because
I was going to say,
we've not
luckily it went from strength to strength after that.
yeah. So
We got a game every year, and they're all awesome.
yeah,
And
we just need PT and that'd be it.
yeah, I think what was the last actual Silent Hill? Was it the one on the PS Vita? The PSP, sorry, the
Was that something like Silent Hill Revelations?
something like that. Yeah,
Or something like that?
yeah, it's kind of like a remake of the first one. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Just try to
and
find
then
it. What
obviously, Silent Hill since then shit the bed.
exactly.
And then while you're looking it up, speaking of games series that shit the bed, Resident Evil 6. We've been there, we've done that. What a pile of.
Resident Evil
fucking
6 is a
stuff.
good game.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
It's
Which one's 6?
it's
6 is the all action, multiple
Yeah,
characters.
full on action, 3 different storylines that eventually converge into one. Each storyline is a pair of characters. You got Leon and some woman, I can't remember her name now. Jake and some Sherry, I think it was, and then Leon and I've already said that. Sorry, Chris and Piers.
Is that one
it
we
was-
started as well?
Yeah, the one we started where I died straight away, obviously.
Weird bug things kept kicking your ass.
Yeah. As you say, Ross, it wasn't much like Mass Effect. If it didn't have the Resident Evil name, it'd probably be a passable action game.
Exactly.
But
and
because it was Resident Evil, and especially after 5, which started to sort of go that way anyway, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I finished it, and then I got to the end, so why did I even bother? That was just, again, I'm such a nerd for Resident Evil. I still enjoyed the story, as sort of camping and probably not really very good as it was. I enjoyed that, but the actual gameplay of it was shocking. Like you could sort of dive roll out the way, you could counter enemy attacks. You've got machine guns and fucking tons of ammo and health, and it's not what I play Resident Evil
No.
4 at all.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like a Resident Evil.
No. So again, without the Resident Evil name, might have been passable fun.
But again,
with
it
it,
was a good looking action game with a decent story.
Oh no, it looked
The
great.
issue
and,
is it attached to Resident Evil name, and that just sort of made everybody go, oh, fuck.
yeah. I mean, even the gameplay at points was a bit wonky, where it didn't quite, like, if they were trying to do sort of Gears of War sort of cover system stuff, and it just didn't really work very well. But I won't go on much longer. It disappointed me greatly.
They get to play Zeta Wong though, so that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And again, I did enjoy the end where they all sort of converged into one massive sort of sequence where they were working at. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is pretty cool. And then it finished as that. No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't cool.
I'm so glad it's done.
There's probably a few more honourable mentions. I'm surprised, yeah. I mean, your fanboy Sega boys got a few turds in the flute.
There were some
Sonic.
I could probably think of. I mean, yeah, well, I could list fucking about
Isn't
100
there
Sonic
one where we
games.
had a love interest with a human? Surely
Yeah,
that's
Sonic
got to be
06.
fucking number one in the chain.
As much as I like Sonic, that's the only one I never played because the demo was atrocious. I fell through the floor. The timer kept getting stuck. I couldn't get any further in the levels, and it's notoriously broken and shit.
Surely,
So I
as
didn't
far as
even play that
disappointing
one.
sequels go, that's got to be head
Well,
and shoulders over
if I
that.
played it, yeah, but like I said, I only played the demo. I was like, nope, never ever touching this.
Another honourable mention I'd say is Streets of Rage 3 going throwbacks. That one was nowhere near as good as 2.
No.
Yeah, I did think about going back sort of that far, but a lot of the games back then didn't really hold up very well, I don't think. Like, I was thinking about them now anyway.
I just, epic ones that had a really disappointing sequel. That I thought that had to be an honourable mention.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with, I think Streets of Rage 3 though was still pretty good. It just wasn't anywhere near as good as 2. Whereas Resident Evil 6 and Silent Hill The Room and Mass Effect and stuff were just utter shambles compared to what had come before. Yeah, cool.
I suppose even if another set of franchises you could say was Assassin's Creed. If you look at things like Unity or
Unity, that was the
stuff like that, that was ones that you could quite easily say compared to the rest of the series.
You could pick out, I think you could pick out so many games that are absolute shite sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
because there's a couple of disappointments in there. It's the one that came to your head the first that when
Yeah.
you'll probably reel off a few.
Yeah, it's, I think actually speaking of Unity, I think that's the last one I actually played all the way through. So I played it with you, Gray, I think, and possibly Ian and Pete, because it was 4-player co-op, wasn't it?
Was
And-
Unity the English?
Yeah,
duo
Unity
one?
was in England. No,
It's France, wasn't it?
No,
France. Yeah, Rogue. No, wait. Was Rogue not
Assassin's
France?
Creed no, Rogue was England, wasn't it? Because you had the twins, the two English twins.
Oh, it was Rogue England. Yeah, Unity.
Yeah,
was
was it Rogue? Oh, I can't remember. There's so many fucking Assassin's Creed games. But yeah, the Unity was definitely the last one I played all the way through because
Oh, yes,
I
you're
remember
right.
it being
You're
so
right.
broken. And like, I was like, this is gonna be shit. And I don't remember enjoying it, but we finished it, so it can't have been that bad.
Yeah, I think that game broke me in the end. It became so chore-like with some of those collectibles shit all over the place that I kind of it made me really taper off Assassin's
Unity's
Creed
France.
as a whole.
Yeah,
Yeah. What was the one after? It was something in S, I think. The one with in England with the twins.
Syndicate.
Assassin's
Syndicate. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I started that one, but I never finished it.
I never finished that one either.
No, I
I
never.
heard that
have.
one was all right too, and I just couldn't get back into
Yeah,
it.
I went through a dud spell of Assassin's Creed. I loved the Ezio games, and then I loved Black Flag, and then I tried to pick up Syndicate, Unity, Rogue, and I was and
Exactly
then
the same.
Origins came out and reignited my love for the series.
It did it with everyone, didn't it?
Changed the
the
way of the
Egypt-
game completely, but yeah, it was still a great game to play.
Well, not knocking out a game every year helps as well.
Especially something as massive as they've become.
Oh
as well,
yeah,
but-
like the current scale of the Assassin's Creed games is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's all right. They're going live service soon, so don't worry. You can just play them forever and ever and ever and ever.
Oh, there's another feather to collect over here.
Oh, don't! I actually collected all the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2
Why?
because I loved running around Italy. It was an amazing map to run around. It looked beautiful.
I think of all the games.
You
that's
shot
the only one
200 pigeons in GTA as well, you gonad.
the only one I've even attempted to get all the feathers in was number 2. And
Exactly.
I didn't
see?
get anywhere. Didn't get anywhere near, but I was like, do you know what? I think I'll try and find some.
No, I
And then
was
it's
quite
like
happy to do that one.
100, wasn't it? You had to collect.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as the bloody sea shanties in Black Flag.
Oh, fuck out. I
least
don't remember doing that.
At least the feathers were like static and they were in the same place. The sea shanties, you had to start at one place and then follow the bloody
Oh, that's what, yeah. that
script
drove
as you
me-
had to. What the fuck?
I vaguely remember that now. That was the worst thing they ever invented.
And
Where
they
you had
still
to
do-
chase and
They still do it in this current one, and how you get new tattoos.
fat.
Yeah, no, that sounds too much. Like
How's
I
it
said,
do?
Unity was the last one, and before that, I never played Black Flag or 3.
You've never
Oh.
played Black Flag?
No,
That was good.
I couldn't. I
you
tried.
need
It.
a
Well, no,
mobile
I said I
game.
never played it. I played like an hour, and I just got bored. But that was quite late on. It'd already been out for a few years. So I just
Fly
got bored.
through the campaign of Black Flag and then spend the rest of the time on the ships and
No,
just
thank you. All right, move on.
He's scared of water.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
forgot
no,
about that.
No thanks. No thanks. Okay, so should we get into what we've been playing then, gentlemen?
yes, sir.
Yeah, on Project Game Pass.
Do this.
A quick
could-
chat.
we could-
Yes, Project
Quick
Game
chat about
Pass.
Project Game Pass. Who hands up? Who likes Forza? One. Good. Right. Fucking what a pile of shit game. No.
What?
No, it's a very good game. It was quite fun when we played the other day, but it's not.
Matchmaking
not
is
for me.
dreadful.
Matchmaking.
No,
Absolute
the matchmaking.
shite.
No, I think the matchmaking when we first tried to do it, we had to set it up properly because once Ian started doing the matchmaking, it went like that. And we,
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
we set up games perfectly. Like once Ian was doing them, it was fine.
So you're saying you messed up?
I didn't do the matchmaking, so fuck you.
No, yeah,
It was
I
Jay.
was on it, but I did what he told me, but it just wouldn't go nowhere.
I must admit, like, see, we only played it with a 4 because Dan had to go and get his nappy changed or something. But when we had to do what was the one? Was it the flag? And it was like either end of the
Captain
ice
Flag,
rink.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That I
So
could
you
have,
can
I
tell the
could have,
greasy tie.
I could have played that the full night. That was fantastic.
But I did enjoy. I must admit, as much as I don't like racing games and that. I did enjoy those sort of modes like capture the flag or the zombie or
Yeah.
King of the Hill and stuff like that because
Oh,
they're a
Even
bit
the
different, but they were good fun.
even like the team racing ones, like the one where it was like Gray had like flew off ahead of everybody and Ian was desperately trying to catch him. See if we had
You're one of them.
Yeah, see if we had balanced it a wee bit more in regards to the teams and not put the 2 players who have played ludicrous amounts of Forza before. That could have been entertaining.
Yeah,
I thought I did alright considering I'm terrible at them, and I beat you both in one of those races.
It is, yes.
And I had to add, I was only semi-concentrating because I was watching Spurs on my phone at the same time.
Well, we also
Just-
put the
just shut it
caveat
off now.
before we make me and Ian sound ridiculous that there was like 30-second head starts putting in
Yeah,
these races.
but not on
as
that
well.
one. Not the one I won. It wasn't. I think you only gave us an extra 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds, sorry.
Yeah. No, like I said, the random modes were fun. The racing, not so much for me.
No. But
Um,
the sort of team modes, you could definitely have a brilliant
Yeah.
sort of time with that. Because it's not necessarily about like driving skill or things like that. It's just the chaos that ensues.
Yeah, Ian mugged us off after you left us, where he did a King of the Hill, and me and Jay still had another cars with greasy tyres while he was just storming around in his fucking Land Rover, evading us.
yeah, he just mugging us off, proper rubbing it in our
Oh
face.
no, what was he? Had the
He had
thingy,
the
a
warthog
warthog,
from-
yeah.
The Warthog
Halo,
Phil.
He was like, oh, you can't catch
Just
me.
gliding around, hiding on top of the castles, and just really just rubbing it in. While me and Jay just greasy car wheels, just trying to get anywhere near him.
Yeah, I think that mode. I think if you had more arcade style handling, I think that would be a great laugh. It was just, as you say, you got to sort of proper drive properly kind of thing, aren't you? And I'm just like, hit the accelerator and hope for the best.
I think when 5 drops, there's definitely going to be just as many of that type of game modes. So maybe if we have the group to go in day 1, it might pique our interest a bit more.
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
I think
they need
that
to
would
fix
be
that bit.
fairer.
Pick
And
the
then-
fucking tyres that work for the level, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh.
make you drive cars with shit fucking wheels. It's
Yeah,
such a game kill.
It'd be nice to have that kind of these are the best cars that you have to work with this map or level or however they design it. It was definitely frustrating picking a car that you could not get
Steer
any
it.
traction. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I suppose that's playing more and learning.
Yeah, I
Exactly,
guess that's part of the game, innit? But so quick thumbs up there, round table, thumbs up, thumbs down. Ross, Gray, Dan. I'm gonna go
Down.
middle just because I did enjoy the crazy modes, but I didn't enjoy the fucking race so much. Because I am shit. So we've picked a new game for this month, which is now the 1st of August already, 2021. Where the fuck has the time gone?
Exactly. Be doing Game of the Year soon.
Oh, fucking. Oh, no, I can't even finish that sentence. Right. So we've decided to pick The Ascent, which has just dropped in the Game Pass a couple of days ago.
Looks outstanding.
It looks incredible. I've been playing it.
looks
I got to
really
play it a
nice.
little bit early before it come out, and the review will be up shortly. This holiday is taking up my time instead of writing things. Naughty, naughty. Yeah, no, it's very good. It's very good fun. I think it definitely will be better co-op. I played a little bit with Gray the other day, and the enemies went from I was running through them to
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
rock hard. Like
They just
it's like-
swarmed you though.
they
That was
instantly
unreal.
joined. It was just the night and day the difference. So it'd be interesting to see if 4 players make more of a difference because it went from being almost too easy at points to almost impossible. We just got swarmed. And
Yeah. That broke my game as well because obviously I went back to my my level 2, whereas I joined your game. Now that the gun I got off that boss, just rinsing through like butter, just smashing through everyone. So I need to get back up to that point.
I think you joined me. I think I was level 12 or so when you joined me.
Yeah, and I was only like level 4 or something.
But yeah, no, it's good fun. Have either of you had a go yet?
Not yet. No. I've got a little vacation for the middle of this week, so there will be some gaming done on that. So hopefully get peace and quiet to jump into it.
Right.
I had a suspicious break bug as well, which had an interesting look into maybe a previous design. I broke my game and it went into FPS mode. on
Oh,
the
nice.
Ascent.
Oh, I saw something on Reddit about that earlier on as well. Someone put a clip over there, but it didn't look as bad as yours. They could actually play it.
Yeah, I phoned Jay to show him. It literally that I was inside the back of the guy's throat, so you could see his teeth coming like from behind the camera.
Nice.
But you were looking in first-person view, but your steering's still in like third party, so you
wow,
could
how
steal
weird.
for shit. It was so wrecked, but it was just so weird to see the game in like FPS mode. It was crazy. But it goes to show that at one point in the time they must have considered this of changing the view into that kind of mode.
I think it worked quite well. Dan, you said you've been playing a little bit.
Yeah, I've played a little bit. So I was talking in our group chat earlier, wasn't I? I think it was with Jake or someone, and I was mentioning that the enemies seemed quite easy, And then as I got to the next level, when what are they, dogs or something you're fighting, or like pack wolves or something weird?
Yeah, they're weird, like
Yeah, and then
creature things.
Then you get into it, and actually you're fighting against other humans, humans air quotes, and all of a sudden the difficulty does ramp up a lot more because they've got guns, and then they do, as you said, they swarm you as well. So I'm not looking forward to jumping into a multiplayer and going, oh shit, they're even harder.
Yeah,
that would just
even harder and more of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think I'm only like level 4 or something daft, and it's there's a little bit of a learning curve to it. It's not as easy.
Yeah,
being
they
that
really
kind
don't train you enough in the cover battle early on. You really need to use the cover and fighting, shooting over the cover.
Yeah.
You really need to make use of that.
Well, that and then grenades as well is like a weird, isn't it? Pushing your
Clicking the thumbstick in, yeah.
But you have to recharge it. You can't just you don't pick them up. So it's like an energy.
You hear that,
based
Ross? You
type.
remembered the grenade button.
No, I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, no, accidentally threw the grenades a couple of times when there were no enemies. But then also you can blow them up mid throw.
Oh, that's quite good.
But yeah.
So when your terrible aim shoots at like 6 foot over where it's meant to be, you can just
you just quickly click, and it'll go.
And there's different ones you can get as well. So there's just out and out grades, and there's one that does like a black hole type void where it just sucks everybody in stasis thing. Yeah, and then you shoot them for damage, and then as they come out, they sort of just explode. Yeah,
it's really good. The only thing I do have for criticism for it would be nice, like as you go into the sub menu, I find everything a bit too small. I don't know whether
that's
it's
just
the
your old
monitor I'm
age.
using. I was waiting for that joke as well. But
they have a menu bit. You can make the text bigger if it is too small.
Yeah.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Even then, I don't think the UI is massively
intuitive, is it? It's a bit convoluted. I think
Hopefully they fix it in multiplayer as well. The amount of times you're sitting through the fucking tutorial menu and everything. Me and Jay had like about 3 or 4 disconnections. Every time I joined him, I pressed start tutorial menu of how to do inventory, tutorial menu of how to apply your skills. So skip,
you say
skip.
Every time I've played it since we played, I've had to do the exact same things again every time I've reloaded the game.
I get it. I know how to do the inventory. I know how to do skill stuff.
Whenever you walk into a shop, it's like, this armor shop sells you armor. Yeah, I know the armor shop to me armor. You
no
fucking
shit,
twat. Just let
on
me
the side
go
of the
in.
building. Why do you think I've come in?
I mean, it's not normally the sort of game I'd play on my own. And I think the only thing pulling me through, really, obviously, other than doing a review, is some of the powers are quite explosive. Like I got one where if you tag a bunch of enemies, if you shoot one and kill them, they explode, and then if they hit someone, then they explode, and you can basically make a massive chain reaction.
A bit like worms. Is it
yeah,
worms
so
or
like 10,
lemmings or something?
Like 10, 12 enemies just blowing up one after the other because they sort of got in the way of the effect. And there's other ones where you can spawn in robots and little spider bots and other bits and pieces like that. So that's quite fun. And again, I think 4 players, I think everybody having different sets of powers and stuff will be quite the spectacle. But the RPG grinding part of it, I'm not enjoying so much because leveling up, you get 3 points, but to use some skill points. But they don't. I don't know if it's just me, but they don't really seem to.
There's no noticeable different.
Yeah, like aside from increasing your health and your battery, which is dictates your special allowance, you can increase stuff like weapon stability, reload speed, accuracy, stuff like that. But it's like go from 1% to 3% and 3% to 4%, and it's like bare minimum. And I think each stat has got 20 levels, and I am over halfway in most of them, and other than health, I haven't really noticed much difference. But again, we might find that when we get to play together at some point. Yes. So we shall play this week, perhaps.
I'd have to do it before I go away. I go away Thursday, so yes.
Yeah. Should we do? Can people do Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Tuesday could do Wednesday.
Well, I'm in Devon, so I should be able to make time.
I'm just looking at my calendar now.
I
might be. I should be. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be. Yeah. I'm back in a hotel from tomorrow, so we can figure this
Tuesday.
out.
Yeah, we'll try Tuesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm easy.
I mean, on the plus side, remember 5 of us can't play all together anyway, so.
True.
People
are gonna be a little bitch anyway, wouldn't he, and not turn up, or not install it.
Yeah, not have installed.
I wonder if he's still in chat.
Oh yeah, love you.
He's like,
yeah, all right. We'll sort that out between ourselves, and hopefully we'll get on this week. And yeah, we shall go from there and actually
Cool.
get some Project Game Pass gameplay going, because
Yeah.
I'd like to actually play this game with people. That would be
Be my
wonderful.
friend.
But speaking of things we have been playing, Ross hasn't been playing anything because he didn't write anything down.
Oh shit! Did I not?
Outrageous.
Can't believe it. And you're having a go at
Outrageous.
Graham.
I was. Blasphemy.
Out fucking rages. Ross, what have we been playing?
I have been playing pretty much rinse and repeat games. Borderlands, jumping back into that. I would say I have been playing Borderlands on the PC for about the last 6 months, and deciding I'm going to jump back on and try playing it on the Xbox. What a difference! 120 frames per second at 1080. Beautiful experience on Borderlands to play it like that. Bumped it up to, I switched from the, let me get this the right way, the performance mode to the resolution mode, so 4K, I think it's 4K 60, if I'm right in saying. But that was just like brilliant. The colours that they use, like obviously the type of graphics that Borderlands use, it's
Very
not
colourful,
something.
cartoony stuff.
Yeah, it's not something you would associate as looking great in 4K. You don't really think you would see the benefit of it. Such an amazing looking game, and playing it on the Series X.
Is it optimized for the Series X?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the ones that have got like quick resume and things like that built into it. They've got the crossplay that they've just launched as of about 2 weeks ago.
But no PlayStation.
But no PlayStation, no. PlayStation, Stadia, no, sorry. Xbox, Stadia, PC, they're all crossplay on that. You got your quick resume, like say 120 frames if you do 1080, and then 4K 60. So jumping back into that, doing the DLCs, I've not actually played through them on the Xbox yet, but no, pretty much Borderlands has been all I've managed to squeeze in this week.
Fair enough. You do love a bit of Borderlands.
I actually start that this week. I haven't even started. I've bought 3, but I just haven't started it yet.
If that game comes to Game Pass, that's a must, because it's a great co-op game. As much as I love the game, it's even far superior when you play it in a group.
I think I might be ill that day.
God damn you, Jay.
I don't know what it is. I just can't get in. I've never been able to get into it. I played the first one with Gray and some of Ian and Pete, I think.
The first is one of the weakest ones.
But
I will say
yeah,
that.
I just couldn't get into the rest of them. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see, won't we? If it comes to Game Pass. If I can play Forza, I'm sure I can play a fucking shooter, which I actually enjoy.
Exactly.
Grayman, what have you been playing?
I have been getting stuck into a bit more of Chris Tales. So yeah, it has a bit of a slow start, but it really starts to develop much quicker once you got your sort of beginning skills into play. And yeah, it really sort of changes it up a bit more, makes it way more enjoyable, and the battling a bit more makes more sense when you've got more skills.
Yeah.
Because it's like having a weak mage and a weak healer and no one really that's a tank, so you really sort of skating on thin ice early on, and eventually the healing bit comes into play. The mage bit comes out. You've got different mage attacks: fire, water, electric, and all that kind of thing. And yeah, so the story is getting a bit better on that. The way that you manipulate time to affect the past and the future, so you can see how the future is going to end up unless you change something in certain cities. And yeah, I made my first kind of big decision. You sort of oust the mayor of an area. You get to pick between 2 mayors, and then yeah, the decision I picked didn't look it end well. I thought, this guy clearly cares about everyone, but yeah, it looks like it went to shit.
I mean, it does look a really. I say that like the last time we were speaking about it, like it looks a really nice looking game.
Oh yeah, it is very sort of like the colors look amazing. The all the different areas are very nice. The only sort of, like I said last week, the only downside is the person who's so slow out of action, just traversing the different areas, traversing the main map. Just yeah, I don't know if they did it because the areas aren't massive, and because in a similar way to the Final Fantasy games, you have your random encounters. So it's like they didn't want to make it too quickly, but otherwise you steam through it without getting enough random encounters to kind of level up for that kind of area. But jeez, it's like watching paint dry at times when they're walking so slow. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely one of those RPGs that are sort of up my kind of street, and yeah, the time manipulation is a great concept, and it's handled well. It's good to see how your actions have consequences, and being able to see them during the three-way split mirror as you see things in the past and the future, and yeah, your time jumping frog who can go into the past to collect chests in the past and the future and bring it back to the present. It's quite clever how it's done. Yeah, it's good fun, and I'm enjoying that, and I will get the review put up in the next couple of days.
Lovely. So look out for that on xboxtavern.com. Head over there for all your one-stop shop Xbox needs.
You need to wink and straight to come.
Yeah, no, that's good. I haven't even started playing it again. Like I said, I played demo.
You won't
and
like
enjoyed
it, Jay. You don't really not a
I
fan
did.
of those.
I did enjoy the demo, but yeah, I don't see myself ever finishing it. But I would like to try and play the.
You're a complete Dan when it comes to RPGs.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah. But speaking of Daniel, he's played and finished a game this week.
No.
Daniel,
And it's
Tell
not a
me about
Ratalaika one for a change.
tell me about it.
And it's not a Ratalaika game, however.
No, it's a fucking excellent one.
Last Stop. Oh my god. Finished, done, dusted. What a game. So Jay, you've done the review for this.
Didn't
I steal some of your words as well. I thought your review was spot on it. So you follow 3 characters, which all have their own issues going on. And as you progress through the chapters, you kind of, there's sprinkled of, sometimes you'll see one character in another character's story, and then it all culminate in the end with what happens, and all your characters are there together. I don't want to say battling, but well, they battle the end story. It's really, really good. It's like a Telltale style game with some quick time events. So as the narrative goes on, you've got a couple of dialogue choices to choose from. The story goes on. As I said, there's a couple of quick time events. It's just a really, really good, in-depth, well-written story. I think that is possibly the best way to describe it.
You're damn right. It's, as you say, it's like a yeah.
Yeah, they've got there's Telltale aspects of the game, and if you don't like Telltale style stories, don't let that put you off, because the story is so good. I suppose my only one criticism is I don't know how much that picking, say, answer Y to answer A changes the story. I don't think it does.
Yeah, I think that's my only real, not nitpick as it were, but there's. I think the outcome you're going to be forced into an outcome, regardless of what you pick along the way.
Yeah,
but it's so well written and so well sort of put together. It doesn't really matter to me. It was just enjoyable regardless.
There was only one character that I didn't feel. So I liked Mina, one of the characters, and I enjoyed John. I just didn't like the schoolgirl. What's her name? Donna. Yeah, I didn't like her story. However, I liked the
relationship.
The evil character. The evil character that was in her story.
See, I'm kind of not opposite to you, I guess, but I didn't like Mina, but I liked John and Jack. And
Mina was very cold, and I suppose, as you're a father, the way that she was with her family life, I suppose, didn't sit well with you. Yeah, which was the same with me.
I mean, again, no spoilers, but that first scene where it's sort of like, oh, she's a bit of a badass, like, not taking any shit type of woman, and then you see that next bit, like, actually, no, she's a massive arsehole. Like, why?
She pretty much was. But I liked that story. I liked the kind of the investigatory part of her story.
I know, I did like her story, to be fair. She didn't sour me, but like I was like, I don't like you.
She was not a nice person. She wasn't a nice human being.
She was a meanie.
Meanie Mina.
And did you do that where you had to break into the ladies'
spoilers?
It's not a spoiler. because I'm not going to mention anything else apart from, did you look in her bedside drawer?
I did, but I didn't. I don't remember seeing what you saw.
Look.
Yeah. Dan's like, hey, that's one of mine.
I got that model.
I've got that one.
Okay, there was a love aid in her drawer. I will go back to it and I'll screenshot it. Yeah, but
See if
she
you
had
can
a
get the
nice.
right dimensions.
She had a big purple warrior in her bedside drawer. I just liked.
Maybe
the
she's just a
fact-
fan of Saints Row.
Exactly.
Possibly. It did, yeah, I thought it had Saints Row on the base. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the story. You have to
Yeah.
play it. It's a good game. It's
Thoroughly excellent.
It's only about 5 hours, I think. It's probably less.
Maybe.
And am I right in saying that's Cloud as well?
Cloud, yeah. The only issue with Cloud, be careful, because Jay mentioned it to me, and then all of a sudden I kept having it every other play session.
Because I'm just about to put it on the iPad, so if it's that bad, let me know.
The volume kind of dips in and out, or crackles, or where it stutters.
Yeah.
However, you have text at the bottom, so you can read the text. So it depends how much if you get pulled out of the immersion of the story.
Yeah.
They're
I
called
played
subtitles.
Yeah,
They've
if you're not a subtitle fan, then you might want to play it natively. But if you
Yeah.
don't mind subtitles, then Cloud is fine.
See, I'll watch everything in subtitles, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's each chapter. So as Dan said, you got the 3 characters, and you sort of pick from each chapter. So you don't have to play them in a specific order, but you must play all 3 characters
Before you
can move on
progress to the next.
chapter.
All right, okay.
And they're on a sort of train, so you pick them, and then they get off at whatever stop it is they're getting off. And each character's sort of segment in the chapter is maybe 15-20 minutes at most.
I think that's on a long one. I played one and I counted 8 minutes. So last week I mentioned I thought it was about 45 minutes. I think when you first start, you have a longer intro into the story. But I think I played chapter 5 and I played John. And I swear to God, John's chapter 5's story beat was 8 minutes long.
Yeah, some of them are really short. You can get over in, as you say, a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
But again, none of them are overly long. And each one starts with a recap. So if you're like me and I played through probably chapter 2 to chapter 6 in one fell swoop. So I did, each 3 characters segment, and then I got a recap each time I picked the next the character on the next chapter. But I didn't mind so much because again, they're only 10-20 seconds, and they just say, previously on Last Up, and then it'd be like, no spoilers, but you kicked my dog and you shoved that love aid up my bum and stuff like that. And then
Relationship improved.
Yeah. +1 cut.
and then it just gets into it, and the story is excellent. It's really enjoyable. There's a bit of sci-fi hokiness to it, which is good, but for the most part it's about sort of just characters just going through their life, and sort of with a bit of a twist. Again,
There's a lot of undertones of life, isn't it? Life can be hard.
Yeah, it's set in London, so all the characters have got that sort of thick English London-esque accent, especially the kid Donna and her friends.
Yeah, in it, bro.
In it, bruv,
In it,
and
oh
all
God.
that sort of, and they're talking about it's typical stuff you'd see like teenagers in TV shows talking about I fancy him, I want to fucking sit in a dark room with him and or her, or I want to stick a love egg up my arse, or or
I wish I didn't mention the draw now.
Yeah,
I've really
see-
lowered this tone.
the more it goes, the more
You've taken this from
supernatural
a
it gets.
potential Game of the Year contender to
I know it.
smut.
It is. That's just teenagers talking dirty, and then you got the wife, Amina, who she's like a super hardcore secret agent who is probably a bit of too much of an arsehole.
Yeah.
And you've got John, who is a single dad just trying to get by, who's got a neighbour whose name is Jack, who
Well, it's not really a neighbour. It's a
Well,
person
yeah,
who lives like.
he lives. They say neighbour, but he lives on the opposite building, and because they've got the same initials, somehow they get the post mixed up. I don't quite understand that part, but it leads to nefarious shenanigans, which again, very enjoyable, and it all wraps up really well. I really enjoyed the ending. Obviously, we won't talk about the specifics, but I'll be interested to see what you pick, Daniel, when we get off air. But because there's three characters obviously, and it goes to places that we shall discuss in the future when it's not so spoilery. But it's on Game Pass, so you've got all kinds of chance to play it. So play it, please, because it's fucking excellent.
It is worth playing.
Again, the only thing it could probably have done with is, some sort of relationship meter, aka Ella the Walking Dead. So Kenny will remember that grey.
Yeah.
Whereas this, as Dan said, it doesn't really seem to matter what you pick as long as you pick something, and then you
It didn't matter in there. I couldn't kill Kenny off, so it doesn't matter in that one. Telltale either.
But again, I've only played it through once, so there might be various bits and pieces that can change. But as far as I can tell, it's not a massive difference. But yeah, no, really good, very enjoyable. And I played it on cloud and PC mostly. A little bit of Xbox here and there, but yeah, very good, very enjoyable.
Yes.
And then obviously the Ascent you've been playing as well.
Well, yeah, which we've kind of spoken about anyway, haven't we?
Yeah, so I've kind of taken over this podcast. Hi.
Well done.
I've played a fucking shit ton of games. A, because I was off, and B, because all of the games I had played last week were embargoed to this week. So I'll just run through them very quickly because we've gone on for far too long already. So obviously last stop, excellent. Halo Infinite, great fun. The Ascent, my review will be up shortly. The only other two I've played that I wasn't allowed to talk about last week was Nightbook, which is another live-action FMV game from Wales Interactive and Good Gate Media. This one it's not quite as good as the Complex, but it's probably one of the better ones I've played of theirs. So it's about a translator who is in London, and she is pregnant at home with her dad who's staying with her, and her husband's away on business.
Oh,
and
I thought I was going on a really dark tale there.
I suddenly thought, as I was saying, that I better clarify some of this. And so she's taken up a night job translating for people who want to make bilingual phone calls. And her main skill is translating this language called Kanar, which is sort of like a forgotten ancient language associated with voodoo and hocus pocus and stuff like that. And each playthrough is only maybe an hour long, but there's plenty of different choices. I think there's 15 endings in total, and it's simple stuff from whether to put some medication in your dad's dinner because he's not very well, or whether to leave it, or whether to lock a door, or all the way up to whether to read a passage out of this book in Kanar, which might then set off some sort of evil curse. But yeah, no, it's really good, very enjoyable. It's again not quite as sort of in depth, I'd say, as the Complex, but it's all filmed in COVID, so the whole thing is set up as like a Zoom call. So you've got the main girl, I forget her name now, Laura Lynn, I think it is, who calls these people who want they want to translate for, and then they all call, and everything's on her desktop. So as you can see in the trailer we're watching now, you see her desktop in the background for most of it, and then you just got little windows with the characters in that she talks to. And then occasionally they'll use their mobile phone to call each other, and sort of the viewpoint changes. But yeah, very enjoyable.
It looks fantastic.
It really is. I mean, considering it's filmed during COVID, lockdowns and stuff. Apparently, all the actors had to set up their own scenes and set up their lighting and stuff like that themselves.
I mean, I know you've spoke quite highly of this Wales Interactive before with the games that they're playing. I've never actually jumped into one of them yet, but that one looks amazing. Like, see, for the fact it's got a very horror vibe to it as well.
Yeah, there's definitely, again, much like the last stop, there's a very supernatural element to it that is not. It's obvious it's going that way, but it's done really well. Like the way they, again, especially considering the restrictions they had filming it, it's really, really good. And I think I found 3 or 4 of the 15 endings, and like I said, it only takes like an hour or so to get through a playthrough.
See a game like that. That's the sort of game that should be in Game Pass.
That would be perfect for Game Pass.
See all of these ones that you've talked about, like the Wales Interactive games. See if they all went in a Game Pass.
Yeah.
It would make everybody more aware of not just the game, but the actual developer as well. Yeah. And then there would be more hype for when the next games come out. Because watching that trailer there, I'm looking at where I can download it because it looks outstanding.
It is really good, really enjoyable. Very campy. And again, depending on the ending you get, you might be like, oh, well, that wasn't what I wanted. But then you just play for it again, and you can skip scenes you've already seen.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you can just quickly get back to where you want to get to.
Apparently, it's available on the Switch as well.
It's on the Switch. It's on, I think it's on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, of all of their games, this and the Complex, definitely two you should play. Things like I saw Black Clouds, whatever it is, it's good, but that sort of missed the mark a little bit for me, just because there was a lot of inconsistencies between the dialogue choices.
Yeah, that was the one that I think that was the first one that I had seen. Like, you had put the trailer up on like the Trello, and I had seen it. I was like, yeah, that looks right up my street. And that was the first one that sort of brought me to that developer's attention. And every game you've mentioned since then, anytime I look at any of the gameplay for it, they just look amazing.
They are great. They're such good fun, and they've come a long way from the likes of Night Trap and all that shit back in the 90s on the Sega set and the was it Sega CD and stuff.
Yeah.
No, really good. Highly recommend it. Again, I prefer Last Stop overall, but if you want replayability, Nightbook is your way to go, because you'll get a lot of that out of that. And then the only other one I've been playing this week I can talk about this week, sorry, is Horror Tales: The Wine, which is a first-person horror / puzzle game, which is again very good.
I've heard a lot about this.
Very enjoyable.
And am I right in saying that they take a lot of inspiration for real-world places in this game?
Yes, I forget the guy's name, Carlos Coronado, I think his name is. He developed it himself, and I think it's based on sort of Italian architecture and setting, and I saw a thing on Twitter earlier on where someone found the actual sort of slum village that he based a section of the game on. And there's a bridge in it, and he was saying, he basically, if you look at it in game and look at the picture this guy took, it's basically a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Minus the creepy elements and the bits that have fallen apart and stuff. But,
yeah.
It looks really good. It's made in Unreal, which obviously does a lot of the help with making excellent lighting and visuals and backgrounds and sort of gory effects and stuff. And it is quite scary, but there's also an element of, if you die, if there's one enemy that chases you basically throughout, and if they catch up to you, then you have to do that section again, and it sort of loses the scare a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's not sort of like something like Outlast, where there could be different paths or different, you hide here and they sort of walking around. It's you get to this point and this happens, and you get to this point and this happens. But it's all about you land on this island in search of this wine that supposedly cures like a terrible plague that's going around your hometown, and your family's afflicted with it. And obviously you get there, all the wine's destroyed. There's only one bottle left supposedly, and it's being held by this guy who sort of challenges you to come find him. And again, no spoilers, but the story wraps up really nicely. It makes, as you get to the end, you sort of like, that sort of makes what happened earlier on make sense. At points you're like, why is my guy doing this? Why would you not just stop and do this or do that? But yeah, by the time you get to the end, it really wraps up nicely. And there's bits like puzzle, bits of sort of physics puzzle. So there's ramps you got to plot blocks on to hold up, or there's carts you got to push along and jump on top of just in time to get over and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really good. It's not the greatest horror game I've ever played, but it's enjoyable enough for 3 or 4 hours to get through it. Yeah, highly recommended. Well worth a look. Yeah, good. So, video games. And yeah, I don't think I played anything else really this week. And I've talked far too much anyway already this week as it is. So. Have you heard about the game called Halo? No. Has anybody else got anything they'd like to discuss?
All gamed out for this week.
Yeah.
So we're going to play some The Ascent this week, hopefully.
Fingers crossed for Tuesday.
Should it go to plan, perhaps we might get some live streaming going on this time. I don't know if that's feasible.
I shall try. Well, actually, no. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, our technical guru, Ross the Gruff Ross. He can. He's looking at me like he's looking at me going.
Or even on our dormant Twitch channel. I did a bit of a Halo stream on our Twitch channel the other day, but I was half cut at the time, so I don't think it come out very well.
Yeah, it didn't. Trust me. I had my phone up and I was like, "What's going on?" And then it just ended.
Well, everybody was in bed. I was like, I don't really want to talk very loudly, and then they couldn't get the fucking game to load. And then I did another one about 10 minutes later when I could get a game to load. But yeah, by that point it was like fucking 11 o'clock and I'd had far too much to drink already.
How many clips did you get in the end of Halo? Send them to
I've
me
got
on.
loads.
Send them to me via WhatsApp, and I'll.
Montage.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Everybody
I've
knows
just been
a
clipping
montage.
everything.
I might put the Benny Hill soundtrack of the.
I tried to make the ones where I actually did some good kills, but I've got some ones in there where I get absolutely destroyed as well because
Yeah, send the
that was the majority of the game.
I'll quickly throw something up.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, you're a wonderful human being. Head over to our YouTube channel, xboxtavern.com/YouTube official, xboxtavern.com. Before we go, we got some new Game Pass, not Game Pass names, sorry.
You do have Game Pass. Well, you have Game Pass games that are jumping.
Yeah, both do.
Game Pass games aren't this week, but we can.
I stumbled over my words and I tried to save it and you just called me out, you fuckers.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Game Pass then first.
Oh, I've just closed the screen. I know
Fuck's sake, Ross.
I know the games. I just can't remember the date. We've got
Pull your
Hades.
finger out.
We've got
On the
Hades.
13th of August.
We've got Psychonauts 2.
On the 25th of August.
And then there's another big one for life.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. That's the one.
August the 19th.
19th. Yes.
3 fairly large games coming to Game Pass, as well as I'm sure there's plenty of others, smaller ones. But...
Cannot wait for 12 minutes. That is going to be. I've waited so long to play this game.
Yes, that
almost
is...
12 minutes.
That was shite, man. That was terrible.
That was
terrible.
Was that worth the effort? Probably
Nah,
not.
it probably wasn't.
Go to games with golf.
Right, for Games with Gold, we have Darksiders 3 from August the 1st to the 31st, Yooka-Laylee from August the 16th to September the 15th, Lost Planet 3 from August the 1st to the 15th, and Garou, Mark of the Wolves from August the 16th to the 31st.
Have they been trying to peddle this ukulele at us for the last God knows how many years, and it's still no one wants it?
But it's such a great game.
This is the first ukulele, right?
Looks
Not
like
the
it.
not the 2D platformer one. This is the open world, well, not open world, 3D platformer style one.
I think it's definitely number one, yeah, because I copied and pasted it straight from somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be interested to try that finally because I never got around to it. Darksider 3 is alright. It's nowhere near as good as the other two,
No.
but it's alright-ish. And then Lost Planet 3. Any interest there?
Don't we know what it is?
Was it some sort of RPG monster shooting in a snowy thing, if
Yeah.
I remember?
Again, the
Yeah.
first one was quite a big technical showcase for the 360, and then it just kind of dropped off after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the second one's shite. I can't quite remember.
The first one, did anybody play the first one actually?
What, Lost Planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
No.
I got to the end. It was all about fighting massive monsters in the snow, like Dan said. And the end's a fucking what
Spoilers.
Scooby-Doo.
like a mech battle.
What's wrong with mechs?
What they call
Exosuit?
yeah, it's just like massive two mechs like fighting each other just randomly. Like, I was fighting massive dinosaur creatures. Where the fuck did this come from? I don't want this, and I couldn't beat it, so I never finished it. But yeah, no, very strange. So yeah, I haven't played the rest of them though. I don't know if they're any good or not. But anyway, we'll leave that for you to find out. Let us know. Hit us up on Twitter and YouTube comments and wherever the hell else you like. Just find us. Like I said, ask Jeeves it. You'll find us. We have been Xbox Tavern. I have been Jamie, and I've been joined this week by Daniel,
Goodbye.
Graham,
Morning.
and Gruff.
See you later, folks.
Remember, we'll always light the way, and all you need to do is let us in. Goodbye.
Oh, God almighty, that's
Goodbye.
God awful.
I know what he's referencing.
I was still heartbroken, so I had to get it in there. Anyway, peace and love.